y'all, it is Scarlett from 38 Investing. In this video, I'm going to be going over the Dave Ramsey Envelope System so that you can learn how to budget effectively using cash. Now in this video, I'm going to be going over what the Dave Ramsey Envelope System is, what cash flow planning is, how to essentially build your budget, how to implement this with kids, different budgeting categories. We're going over a ton of information throughout this video, and so I encourage you to watch all the way to the end, because also if you go down to the link in the description below, you'll be taken to the article which has a free printable down there for you so that you can have more success with the Dave Ramsey Envelope System. So without further ado, let's go right into it. So let's talk what the Dave Ramsey Envelope System even is. So essentially this Dave Ramsey Envelope System, like I have been saying about Dave Ramsey, he kind of coined this envelope system, but it really is a budgeting method that honestly thousands of people have successfully used to save money and achieve their financial goals. So whether you want to pay off debt or if you want to save up for whatever it is you want to do, the key with this is putting cash into envelopes and using this cash for spending money instead of using your debit or credit cards. So as we'll look at later, envelopes are categorized by budget categories, but we'll talk about those later. Now, let's talk about, will the envelope system even help me? So is this best for you? It may or may not be. Let's figure out why. So one of the key reasons why this envelope system is so successful is because it helps to modify your behavior around spending. So this is so important because what this essentially makes you do is spend less because you really experience this loss of physical cash compared to just seeing numbers decrease in your bank account. It's a really effective way to achieve your financial goals and for paying off debt and helping you spend less overall. Now, one key thing to know is what cash flow planning is. So the concept of cash flow planning is really the foundation of this cash envelope method. This essentially means that you'll get a grasp over what money comes in and what money goes out in your budget every month. And so essentially, you'll learn how much to save and how much to spend. And so the point of having a budget really is to finely tune what happens to your money. You tell your money where to go. That way, this cash envelope system honestly is a great way to plan where your money goes. So let's talk about how to implement Dave Ramsey's envelope system method. So in order to do the envelope system, all you really need is a handful of envelopes and cash. So to do this envelope system, honestly, you need to first set up your monthly budget. So by setting up your budget, it essentially means that you allocate every dollar that you earn into a category. Your money is then put toward everything from housing, food, utilities, entertainment, tithing, giving, debt payoff, whatever it is that your money goes to, it needs to be put into a category. So the point of this envelope system again is to pay for things with cash. So we want to eventually put the cash into each of these envelopes for the month. All right, so for this envelope system, you need the categories, right? So we need different envelopes and we need categories per envelope so that when it comes to spending something like going out to eat, you can take that envelope and spend it. Now here is a good list of different budget categories that I personally have used and that I have found helpful for this envelope system. These are just a few, to be honest, depending on your specific situation in your life. You could have a whole bunch of different categories, but figure out what you spend your money on. So let's talk about really how to have success with the Dave Ramsey envelope system. The first key is to not take cash from other envelopes. So every month you're going to allocate into each envelope how much money that you expect you're going to spend. And so if you overspend or if you get really close to overspending in one envelope, you can't go taking from other envelopes that you know you spent less on. The key here is to over time get a really good understanding as to how much money you spend and then to also help curb your spending in other categories that you spend too much on. The next tip is to reward yourself. So honestly, too many people burn out when starting a budget, and you may have experienced this before, but you definitely want to get over this 3-month hump that a lot of people talk about. So going cold turkey and trying to completely make your strict budget and not rewarding yourself, it can cause burnout and you may not stick to this envelope system that long. And then next, we need to talk about realizing it takes time. So it takes time to get your budget right. In fact, it can take up to 3 to 6 months to be confident in your budget. So that's honestly a long time, but every month you get better and you build this habit to understand how much money you spend and to better estimate how much money is going to be in each category. Next, I really advise you to include your entire family. If you have children, it's really recommended that you include them in this envelope system so that they can better understand why you're using cash. I really believe it's imperative to set a good financial example for your children and to ensure that they're going to learn how to spend and save and use money as they grow up. Tip number 5 is to use budgeting meetings. I love budgeting meetings with my spouse. We do this every month where we essentially go over our financial goals and our plan for the month ahead. And during this budgeting meeting, we stuff our envelopes and we get that planned for the month. Lastly, make sure you have an accountability partner. I always preach this tip in so many videos and articles, but I believe it's so important to keep you on track. An accountability partner, whether it be a spouse, a relative, a close friend, it's someone who checks in with you on a regular basis, usually once a month to be honest, and it's someone who motivates you and helps you through the process. Now let's quickly go into the envelope system for kids. I really think kids of any age can participate in the envelope system, and it makes a huge difference in their worldview regarding how money works. So you can essentially separate 3 envelopes for your kids. These envelopes include giving, saving, and spending. So when they get money for birthdays, for example, instead of just putting money into a piggy bank, this envelope system for kids is a great way to educate them on the importance of giving or importance of saving up for buying what they want rather than just earning money and sticking in a piggy bank without understanding anything about it. So in recap, the envelope system really just requires you to take envelopes at every month, understanding your budget first, but allocating money into each envelope and only spending with cash. That's the key with this. It's building up your habit of spending and reducing your spontaneous spending by physically using cash. It's super effective and has been helpful for me, especially at the beginning of my debt-free journey, and I know it can be really helpful for you. So I'm curious if you have used the envelope system, or honestly, if you've just spent with cash only, comment down below with any tips or with an experience of yours and how it's helped you out. Be sure to go check out my other videos in my budgeting category on my channel. Thanks for watching.